So I want to talk about, I was in Las Vegas, and I've been to Vegas many, many, many times, and, you know, I've seen fights there, and at Caesar's Palace. You know, I saw the Hearns and Hagler, Hagler fight, which I think is the greatest fight in the world. It's, you know, just crazy. But, you know, the hype, I've never fucking seen in my life. The hype. It was fucking crazy, Vegas, and it was all about the fight. And I was going to, just before the break, I was going to tell the guys, if you wanted to go watch the fight in a bar, it was $100 to get in.
Boy, did they suck everybody in.
Yeah.
$100 fucking to get in per person, because the bar had to fucking pay a different fee. I bought it on Rogers On Demand because I have Slingbox on my phone, and we were sitting at the table for the awards dinner, and we watched the fight. Well, you know, the long speeches where everybody, you know, they thanked like their dog, the fridge, the stove, everybody who made them fucking win, right? So we watched it, but the hype, Phil, was. Have you ever gone to the fight, Phil?
I've been to. I watched Muhammad Ali and Norton, and I watched Muhammad Ali and Frazier in New York.
That's a big one. That would have been. Well, both of them are big. Norton was a great fighter. Muhammad Ali was the greatest fighter. So there must have been huge hype around those two, Phil.
Oh yeah, it was. It was nothing like what you see now because, of course, didn't have the social media. They just counted on the press and the television, you know, and radio, sports talk radio. Now they've got all this social media shit, and it's all over the place.
You know, I talked to some boxers. You talked to some boxers who made their living, like Oscar De La Hoya was livid about this fight. He said it was an embarrassment to boxing, right? And it was, you know, a carnival, right? And a lot of other boxers that I talked to that didn't want me to mention their names, they were also livid about this. And there was a bit of a... I like McGregor, and, you know, I think he's very charming, and, you know, he's a great MMA fighter. And I was hoping that he would win because he's a power puncher, and Floyd Mayweather is not. And I thought he would catch him, because that's what you do. But when I saw the first two rounds where he was getting, you know, the ref was all over him because he was rabbit punching and, you know, shit that you can't do in boxing that you can do in MMA, I said, this guy's going to be in trouble.
Yeah. I guess people tell me that if McGregor didn't knock him out within 4 rounds, it was fait accompli. You know, for Mayweather.
100%. Floyd Mayweather he fought a very intelligent fight for, you know, he's 4 years old, he's fighting a guy 10 years younger than him, and a bigger reach, a taller man, and he just let him punch himself out, and then in the 9th round and 10th round, he beat the shit out of him. It was hard to watch.
Did you hear that he tried to bet on himself?
Yes. Yes.
You hear that, guys?
Yeah.
That he was going to knock him out in
McGregor.
the 10th round or something?
Yeah, McGregor. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I like McGregor, and I found him very charming, and I thought he was a very gracious loser, very rich loser, very rich. He made a lot of money on that fight.
Very rich. How much do the UFC guys make when they fight it? Do you have any idea?
Yeah,
it's who you are.
It wouldn't
McGregor makes big money because apparently the pay-per-view fights with McGregor sell out fast because he's a big draw, because he's a bigger-than-life guy, and his story's incredible. He lived in his car at one time, and now he's a millionaire.
Yeah, if you're talking about how much they make, it depends on how high in the pyramid they are.
Exactly.
Like 90% of these guys don't make much. They'll make it if they get fight of the night, they can get $60,000, right? Yeah. But most of these, you're talking, there's a fight coming up pretty soon with George St. Pierre.
Yep.
George St. Pierre makes, say, $3-4 million.
That's right.
Could be even higher than that, right? But McGregor is the biggest draw right now
in the world.
In
the world, not in Quebec, in the world.
I'm talking about McGregor is caters to a new breed of a fight fan. He's very boorish. He swears a lot. He's very confident. He's very cocky.
Oh.
He delivers.
And controversial.
And he created this fight.
Yeah.
He wanted this fight to happen because he knew what it could do. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
He manipulated.
I read that it was Mayweather who wanted this fight.
No, Mayweather didn't want the fight. It was McGregor that pushed it.
Mayweather is in very, very dire straits, financial difficulty. Owes the Internal Revenue money.
He owes probably about 30-40 million, from what I understand.
Yeah, and he was able to pay them because his paycheck was $100 million.
You know what's?
I would think at least, Frank.
I think it's going to be closer. It could be like 300 to 400 million he's going to make off this fight.
Yeah.
Well, I think net after he pays his taxes and stuff, he's going to be left with 45-50 million bucks, which for anybody in the planet who had that in the bank, their kids, their other kids, and kids they don't know could live very happily.
He is the richest athlete annually, making about 40 million bucks off his fights.
Mayweather.
Yeah. All he used to fight, he hadn't fought in more than 2 years. This was McGregor. If you know anything about his career, he pushed this thing because that's what he does.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
I misinterpreted, but I think that I find McGregor very charming. I find him charismatic, and I think he's funny. And some people didn't like Muhammad Ali because they felt that he was a little obtuse and a little in your face. But I found him extremely charming too. So you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. But I personally, I thought this was just a money thing for both of them. I didn't think that the guy would have a chance because he's used to grabbing guys and throwing them down and getting on top of them and fighting them. I don't know how the hell he could. The first time in the ring, he goes with a guy that has never lost.
Yeah.
But it was all about the money.
Yeah, Phil, it wasn't a classic. It wasn't one of those like Frank went to the Hagler-Hearns fight. But Filippo, let me ask you a question. If you saw Ali Norton, I'm thinking it wasn't in '72 because that was in San Diego. You probably saw him at Yankee Stadium. But did you see Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier? Was it in '71 or?
I can't remember what year it was, but it was in Madison Square Garden.
Wow. You saw the fight of the century?
With Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. You said Joe Frazier, right?
Yeah.
Howard Cosell was the MC that night, and he covered it for ABC. And both fighters were interviewed after, and they both said that they got the shit kicked out of each other.